Higher Education Engagement Transformation Community of Practice meeting. It's our third one, which is, which is great. We're surviving from our launch. So welcome to you all. We have an agenda today that will take us to more reflection time and more collaboration time than we have in the past. And we really want to hear from you and start thinking about advancing the higher education and youth agenda with you. So we will ask you to put your thinking hats on and activate your brains, and let's push this agenda forward. Albina is going to share the agenda.
Yes, hello everyone. Thanks for coming today. As Yolanda said, it's our third meeting, and today we called it members meeting. So we want to have close circle, some introductions to each other. We will recap of what our community of practice is about for people who maybe just joined us today, how we communicate, what we did at the last meeting. I hope you enjoyed last meeting. Then we will tell you secret document, which is COP charter. And after, as Yolanda said, we want you to put your thinking hats, to give us some ideas, to tell about yourself. Let's have a great conversation today. And we will have 3 working groups so we can meet each other. And then after each working group, we will ask you to do small report out to the whole group. After that, we will share next steps.
Thank you, Albina. So as a reminder of where you are right now, where we're part of a community of practice. And if we just want to reiterate the goal of it. It's really trying to provide a platform in which the higher education institution community and the youth community can engage with each other and integrate approaches that will lead to really positive youth development and higher education programming that will really incorporate the needs of youth. And that's why we all here together. There is, I know it can be a little unwieldy, but you need to go, if you're not already, on the youthpower.org site. And you go into the higher education engagement transformation link, that community of practice. And there we have discussion threads. Right now, they're not really used much, but we put resources in it. If you have ideas, if you read a good article, if you want to share anything, put it in there, and we can all learn from it. So please remember to do that. So yes, next.
So what we did at the last meeting, first in March, we had our kickoff launch with more than 200 people globally from US state, implementing partners, universities, youth. After that, in May meeting, we had around 75 participants. We shared our document charter. And I think we have Eric today with us. Eric had presented as great work titled The Changing Role of Universities for Youth Workforce Development, the example of Indonesia. After Eric's presentation, we also asked people to share in a Padlet in a lifetime online, which topics you as a members are interested to work together to go further. And you shared 3 topics. It was majority votes. Data and evidence on the effectiveness of higher education programming and positive youth development approaches. Second, higher education institutions and industry relations. And the last, tourism and higher education. There were a lot of topics. We just picked these 3 top to work together with you today. Next, please.
Thank you, Albina. And this is more household matters. we have, because we're a bunch of experts and we're all educators and we like to talk and we like to argue and we like to learn from each other, we have to get organized and as a community. So there is a charter, and it is in a Google Doc. You see the link here and now. Please go into it if you can by the end of the month and add comments. We will, we'll address all of them. It's just, household management. So please go in there. It's accessible to you all. If you have experience from other communities of practice, that would probably, come in handy to help us, use this community of practice more efficiently. So that's our ask. See, I make it easy, right? We make it easy. It's okay, just go to Google Doc and add your comments. So the topics that Albina mentioned, these are the top 3 that got a lot of attention during the launch in terms of what we see as a community, where the reflection should go towards and push that. So what we'd like to do, and Albina will talk more about this, if her electricity doesn't go out, there's a big storm in Kazakhstan right now in Almaty. So, but these are the topics that that we need to unpack, because they're the ones that you think right now the most important to advance the higher education, programming and positive youth development agenda. So data and evidence, what's your experience on that? What are the gaps? What can we learn from what we have? What gaps do we need to tackle? To what extent will this advance the agenda that we committed to? The higher education institutions and industry relationships, it's a huge topic. As you know, you all have experience in it. Same thing, we need to unpack it and see what we want to do with it. Do we want to do more research together? Do we want to share what we know about it? Do we want to do virtual events? Do we want to share resources on it? Where do we want to take it? So that's where your thinking hat comes in handy. And then the third one is tourism and higher education. And same thing with that, what's your experience? Where do you think tourism and higher education issues should go towards? What do we know? What don't we know? We have, just to give you an idea, just yesterday, I was in touch with a colleague of mine at USAID who's in, where is he? Macedonia, I think. And they have a lot of fun initiatives on tourism and higher education. And they would love to connect with the rest of the world on that. So that's, that's a service and a topic of interest that we can dig deeper in. So we will unpack that, and Albina will tell you how we're going to get organized to unpack these topics. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to choose which one you'd like to reflect on. Albina.
Thank you, Yolanda. So everyone, please, I think in your screen, in the bottom, you see breakout rooms, like sign, or I don't know how to say, near the reactions. Do you see it? If you see it, just click on breakout rooms. When you click, you will see 3 rooms we have prepared for you, 3 working groups, as Yolanda said, and please select which one you want to go. In order to go, you will see there is like 0 number. You click on that number, you'll have yes and no, like, do you want to join this group? So please go to the room you want to talk about, to learn more. And before you go, I'd like you to pay attention to the chat. There is a Google Doc link. Please let us know if you can't access it or you don't know how to go to rooms. When you click this Google Doc, it's open for everyone. There is a small table, just 4 questions and 3 working group names, titles. So we ask every group to assign 1 person, volunteer, who wants to be a person who will report back to us Thanks, Christy. So who will report back to us about key insights you got from your conversation in your working group, which product you want to work together, any experience, interests. And then you should fill this table. So we will have this data with us for our digesting and analyzing and working with you. Christy, do you see these breakout rooms? Oh, already people are in.
Yes, now I do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So is everything clear? Do you have questions? Please assign one person. He goes to this Google Doc and types when you talk key answers from your working group discussion to 4 questions we put in this Google Doc. And you have 20 minutes. When you come back, we will talk about what you have discussed. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the room. We didn't have enough time. I don't know about others. Yolanda, how was it?
Yeah, we could have had another 10 minutes.
Absolutely. It's like lesson learned. We are learning by doing with you. So, but it was really interesting. We met so many amazing people, ideas, and also we have this Google link. So please feel free to fill in after the meeting anytime, because we will read everything. And now we can do like report out. Maybe I saw everyone was typing. Thank you so much. Maybe anyone from any group could in turn just share 3 insights you got from your group discussion and how you guys want to work together. Did you decide on it? Or do you have some proposal, like joint project you want to work together, research, anything? So we could start from our group. Our working group was about higher education and industry. And I really welcome people from our group who wants to talk. We had Eric, we had Vasily, Rida, Judith, and we had, I think, Khaled. So do you guys want to share what you talked about? Eleanor also, sorry. So we had 7 people.
Well, sure, I'll jump in. This is Eric Berkfold from the University of Arizona. I think we had a number of different topics that we discussed. One of the things that's, I think, challenging that we discussed is how vocational training institutions, in particular that do technical training, can engage their students virtually. This is, I think, a point that Eleanor brought up. But how do they engage with their students virtually and and continue the training and education that they receive but not being able to actually access a classroom or a facility that has the equipment that they need? So I think she was looking for examples from that, that anybody might have to share. I had shared an example from my time in Indonesia where a large farming equipment provider had developed in-house virtual training using that equipment so that students could get a sort of feel for what they needed to do in a virtual environment before actually going out and trying the equipment and training on it directly. So, but that's often something that's difficult for most vocational education and training institutions to develop. I think it's costly and it requires specific expertise. But any other examples from the group would be welcome, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I also wanted to add that we talked about how universities could work together with higher education institutions in different formats, not only traditional, like inviting some speakers from private sector, but something interesting. And we had Vasily from Kazakhstan, his youth representative, and he shared that there was a project called Competitiveness, Trade and Jobs funded by USAID in Central Asia. And within this project, there was sector on transport and logistics. So they worked with specialized universities who prepare students to work in this field, through startups, through funding seeds, opportunities, like different formats. And it was successful because students got some incentives to engage, some prizes, and industry got some ideas they could invest into, like do research further, do some partnership, do some mapping. So it was like win-win, as Vasily said. And he was wondering how it would be done in a new post-COVID context, like which we are all together. So this is from our group, I think, like briefly, and maybe we can go to Yolanda, your group.
Sure. Does anyone from my group want to present? Okay, I'll do a quick thing then. I'll take it on. Our group was looking at data and evidence on the linkages between higher education and youth. And the main results from our great conversation was that we need to collect success stories of how higher education institutions and youth work together, successful examples. Collect stories, we can do it. We talked about doing in a competitive way, a little bit like what Vasily said, I guess. And we can use social platforms to collect those stories and then just maybe put some spotlight on one of them. And the other need that we identified is what we're missing is a foundational document that, like Sam called it, a primer on how to apply positive youth development to higher education and how do institutions, incorporate it and make that bridge. So that document, that primer is missing. So that's what we talked about, but we did not get far enough to find out how we would do it and what resources we would need to make it happen.
Do you mean kind of framework?
That's, yeah, probably in the end it would be the primer would probably have a framework. I think we'll start with success stories. I'm hoping that Maria will be available in early July for our next meeting to really talk about positive youth development. So we could also talk about that more in depth in July.
Absolutely. We also talked about how to invite private sector people to our community of practice. So not only higher education and development people, but from private sector. I think this interesting idea. So they could share about what they want from us, like what is their needs. So I think we could think about this and just everyone, please invite people to our community of practice. Let's expand together. And I think that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Did we have a tourism group? Or
yes, we did. It was
we
small,
did.
so it did exist. Would anyone from the tourism group like to present about what we talked about?
I mean, I was the team member, but I have no clue about the tourism part of it, so I was a little bit late, unfortunately, but you talk about the tourism part, I will talk about the other part of it, so.
Okay, Joanna, would you like to talk about your experience on the tourism and taking students abroad, or would you like me to summarize for you?
I can start. Thank you. Yes, I work for Texas A&M University, and we have a lot of study abroad programs and research abroad programs that, of course, involve tourism. Personally, I have taken a lot of student and faculty groups abroad, mostly to Latin America. And I also manage a media grant program for students from around the world so that they can travel to any country and just take pictures or do documentaries. And of course, all of that, involves tourism. So those are some of the experiences that we have had. And then some of the challenges is that we do need new strategies to keep students safe while traveling abroad, especially during the pandemic. how to conduct better immersion programs before they travel, and then some challenges related to students having to conduct their programs in another country because perhaps the country that they had selected for their as their target country is not safe. And then how to involve more universities abroad in our programs. I talked a little bit about rebuilding trust after our programs had to stop because of COVID. So locally, we have to work on rebuilding trust with the communities that we work at. And then on the resources and networking opportunities, we want, perhaps to kind of promote virtual networking experiences, to share best practices, to address some of the challenges that I've just stated, and then hearing from organizations working on sustainable travel. So perhaps a webinar would be good. And then I'm gonna let Noor talk about what he contributed.
So thank you so much. It's a great forum to talk about these universities and higher education institutions. I mean, that includes TVET. I'm working for Virginia Tech. I am the chief of party actually for the Catalyzing Afghan Agricultural Innovation Project, working with the in-country in Afghanistan with 5 universities in the TVET institutes. So we did talk about the positive youth development on my side, that when I first put our faculty together, there's a team in the Virginia Tech that do positive youth development program training, and I asked them and said, that this is what we want to do. And when we talked about it, nobody knew what is that supposed to mean. So we actually created some training modules for them, and we did some virtual and some in-person. Actually, we have a team of people in country and a team of people. We actually built some relation with a university in India, and we took some people because of the situation in the country, take some of the relevant university experts and brought them there in Virginia Tech there. And then we built like a policy document, how universities can be involved in community work and how universities are supposed to be the center of community development and working with multiple stakeholders, including that's working with the private sector and industry, to align their curriculum based on the labor market requirements, and the same goes with the TVET institutes, that's the work we're doing with is to align their skill building activities based on what's required in the community and in the private sector. So there's a lot of success stories as well. We collected a lot of, built a lot of soft skills for the students, how to look for a job, how to search for a job, how to go for interview. We created linkages between industry and universities to give internships and so on, so, but the main thing is I actually looked at, Virginia Tech, and went to almost including their Apex Center for Entrepreneurship to actually reach out. How can we build such a center in one of the universities that we're planning? There are a lot of people that are interested in these entrepreneurial activities, but they need the right guidance and the right people to take a model and put it there, so this is exactly what universities can offer a lot, in the United States. And my main objective is to link US universities to the universities where we work in Afghanistan. And I think that will benefit all sides. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it was really interesting ideas. And what we think is the similar things that comes from everyone is about success story sharing. So people want to hear good news. Yolanda and I, we suggest that maybe each group, working group from this, after this meeting, will post on our Use Power network so that everyone will see one success story on your topic. What do you think? I think it will be great so we can comment on it, like ask questions. So let's use this virtual platform that was generously created for us. And our group, tourism group, I think you have so many knowledge, skills, resources. So please do share. Katie just shares the link. So you can go there, register and put any documents, success stories, photos. So that would be awesome for everyone. And for next
Yeah,
step,
thank you, Albina. I want to second that. Please do that. If you think of stories that we can put the spotlight on, and then we can really amplify them, and then maybe have presentations about them so we can learn from it. And after a few meetings, and a bunch of them, maybe they could be compiled as as a product that we could share. So just please just put them in, just put anything you have, just dump it in, and we can sort that.
yeah, we are good with our timing, very effective, 2 minutes left. So maybe we could do group picture and Yolanda will share what's next.
Okay, yes. So two things before you go. Please, please, please. If you have colleagues in universities in the global South and non-Western, or Western too, but non-Western universities, please tell them to be part of the community of practice. We don't want this to be a US-centric exercise. So it's all about connections. So please, if you have the name of someone you think would be interested in any universities, just share it with share the name with Katie or us, and we'll make sure that they added. Keep an eye on the platform, the youthpower.org. We're having a really hard time starting a virtual conversation with you guys. No one has the time to go to that platform and do it, but just keep an eye on it. You get notifications once a week. Just put things in, even a reflection of a thought, and just to get that conversation going. Imagine we're on site and we're having tea together, and yes, oh, how about this? How about that? So pretend that's the situation you're in, and just put it in the chat, in the Youth Power the HEET discussion thread. The next meeting is going to be in July. Can't remember the first Thursday in July 1st, I think. And Maria will present on power, on positive youth development. So the conversation will be about that. And then we'll meet again in September.
Yeah, we have person raising hand. Is it like question?
Oh, Vasily, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll make picture.
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick technical question about the platform. Yesterday, I was trying to post some information on my project idea within the innovation tab, and there were several kind of tabs that you need to fill up. And all of a sudden, I clicked submit, and there was kind of error. And I was thinking maybe I couldn't see my post. Maybe there is a moderation, or there should be someone who will check and then will make my publication available. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So maybe you can drop email to our colleague in a chat, yeah, like Katie or Maria.
Can I just respond quickly? So I think just to say, yes, when you post something, it is moderated, as you said, Vasily. So if you don't see it immediately, don't worry. It will take perhaps a day or two to get the approval. Sure. We're trying to do it as quickly as possible, but we have a very small team that, and we only check, to make sure it's not spam, because we've had problems in the past. So, and make sure it's appropriate. So it may take a day or two, but it should work.
Thank you, Maria.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is very exciting. I'm all excited about this project. Have a good month. We'll see you in July, and tell your friends, colleagues about
Yeah,
this.
I will spread the
We're
word.
gonna
you
make this
know.
agenda go forward.
We will invite
Please
other
do. We
people.
gotta make, we gotta make this agenda go forward. We can do this.
We will
So,
invite
all
other
right.
people.
Thanks.
we will write,
All right,
emails
terrific.
with news. Please check your emails.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day.